Hi, this is Kate Krantz, and I will be talking about the gallery show project that I've been working with Erin and Destiny this semester. So, for the theming that we came up with is more of 2000s recent kind of work of some sort of traditional Chinese art that has been reconstructed into a more modern twist using certain methods or certain concepts that some of Western art has influenced into Chinese art. For the first artist I will talk about is Shun Sun, and one of the cool things that he does is he uses literati paintings, traditional techniques, and reevaluates it into an avant-garde style and creates an animation sequence with it. First projects that I will talk about is his Time Vivarium. The material used is an acrylic and ink that is mounted on paper that is used to mount onto an aluminum wall to show the animation sequence. And for this project in Time Vivarium, he has 4 channels that are linked side by side, but they still collaborate with each other, even if they're separated pieces. So for Time Vivarium, it is a work that demonstrates the current new trend of contemporary art in studios. As such, with Shun Sun, he uses traditional ink paintings and surrealism to paint characters to represent symbols in his movie. Traditional ink painting styles, such as literati paintings, have been neglected much of the 20th century in China, but it's recently making a comeback into the contemporary styles of artists. Shun Sun uses both Chinese and Western culture influences to combine both a united narration. In this project, the audience can see the animals and object used as symbolism to create a deeper meaning behind the message. Add the style of surrealism, and the story has an unappealing portrait of what the concept is about. Drawing frame by frame with a small private studio of artists to help assess Shun Sun, these paintings are created into an animation sequence. In Time Vivarium, 4 different sequences are bound together, creating a 50-foot film screen displaying different parts to the narration. Shun Sun explains that as he grew up, he heard many different variations of Chinese history, and that it contradicted what he learned from different sources. His main source was from his father and his grandmother's different versions, but it always contradicted what was taught in class. He was born after the Cultural Art Revolution that ended in China. The event left many bitter resentment towards the government's actions to the people. As an adult, he learned to view different cultures and their take of information and how it is responded to them. It wasn't until after visiting the American Museum of Natural History in New York, he was exposed to the West and how they explained their history, and it became an inspiration of the Time Vivarium. In a quest to represent the history of Cultural Revolution in China, the artist used objects and animals to narrate the fables to the audience. The project was about skepticism of history provided by the government officials that expect people to naively believe. In some ways, this could also be skepticism, not just of the Chinese version of history, but other countries' versions too. Shun Sun further explains the power of the United States has in the world, not just because the government influences, but the cultural influences too. Time Vivarium is an animation that will give an audience a different understanding of what truth is and how information is passed, and how that information is received, and whether that information is reserved or whether it is disregarded because it contradicts the conclusion that the person already established. It is a project that could raise interest around the world of who actually holds what is true, and whomever it is, would they be willing to tell the actual truth, or would they be willing to give their version of the truth? It is a reminder of who should be trusted and who should not be trusted. For this project, he created another animation, but very unique, in that instead of using traditional ink paintings like he used, or traditional methods of drawing or 3D animation, what he did was he used wood carving prints to create an animation sequence. This project is called Time Spy, as it is an animation sequence that could change the way how art interacts with the world. The team in Shunsun's studio used over 10,000 wood blocks to create an animation through the ancient technique of woodcut for each frame. It was noted that for every second, about 18 wood blocks were carved, inked, dried, and then had to be scanned onto a computer instead of being processed to the printing onto paper. Once the work has been scanned, using the computer not only to align each picture to create a movie, the artist is able to alternate the work to be viewed in three-dimensional view. Along with the video installation, 3D glasses are provided to the visitors, and some of the wood blocks used in the project are able to be displayed to the audience. As previously mentioned, Shunsun is an artist that has a theme to be questioned about what the truth is and what makes it true. With Time Spy, it is a concept that is more about what is time and how time is viewed and by whom. Shunsun uses certain historic events or cultural moments to animate time passing by. Certain images to have been mentioned or referenced are those such as in the Industrial Revolution, as seen with the mechanic machines at work, the scenes of the 1902 Journey to the Moon, a silent French film, the Japanese print Hakuseis, The Great Wave, and many more. It shows the collaboration of international cultures and the events that have contributed over the years to how societies are established today. It makes the understanding of time more impactful, as history is what influences today's events, as today might be how tomorrow might be influenced. Not only do people have different truths due to different cultural influences, but the artist wants to demonstrate that people in different periods will have different conclusions too, even if those two periods exist in the same culture. In some ways, it is the perfect time to test out how woodblocks prints can be evolved into 3D printed movies, as woodblock is traditionally used for 2D flat images, instead of creating it into a 3D effect. The medium of the work itself demonstrates a new movement of evolving traditional technique long forgotten and reviving it to a new technology to promote the reputation it once had in the past. Spy is an artwork that has a new method of applying traditional cultural skills, yet still using certain aspects of Western influences. It also demonstrates the importance of time, the effect it has on everyone, and it has on the foundation of life. For the last artist, I will talk about someone different. This artist is Wenzing Zhan, and what she has been doing is bringing lacquer and paintings and designs back into the idea that it could be considered an art tradition in the Chinese art. Lacquer has been used almost like a protector to certain dishes and furnitures. What makes it special is the time-consuming designs that was embedded on the surface of the coat. Artist is bringing back lacquer into a new process of illustrating abstract design of calligraphy within the painting. In her collection Back to the Renaissance, Wenzing has been influenced of certain time periods in art history, creating a roughly 32 lacquer paintings using abstract styles to renew the medium and the study of calligraphy into a focal point. Using traditional Chinese colors, such as gold, red, and black, each image is created using a unique display of beautiful designs. Wenzing Zhan clarified the two meanings behind back in the title Back to the Renaissance, as she uses the series to bring back lacquer to the art world, and by bringing back the present mind of artists and art critics to observe certain Chinese history and culture. As such with this painting, Sacred Calligraphy, Silver number 18, it shows Chinese influences of colors, material, and calligraphy. Yet with the abstract styling of the character and composition of the background, it gives it more of a contemporary outlook. What gives these paintings a really unique perspective is the idea of using lacquer more as an art basis than to use it as a traditional coating to protect whatever surface it is using, as the surface that the artist used is just a canvas. Although there is little to no concept of the story of the work, the visual appeal gives the statement of blending tranquility and having a bold mark. It's on its way to showing the audience an immersion skill put into place of lacquer, as it is a very time-consuming process to make. Wenzing Zhan wanted to incorporate certain elements of culture, particularly with the West and China, to bring those elements together. She wants to make the pieces about the beauty of two art specialties and the connections between the societies and cultures. In its own unique beauty of colors, along with the abstract layout, it has bound a piece of art to bring conversations from both cultures.